a lot of bumpers.
Yes, it's a lot of bumpers that I have acquired and repaired and painted for our Legends division. Well, me mainly. Um, Welcome back to the channel. Um, we had off this past week of Legend Racing. Apparently, Riverhead, we had a good showing with all the divisions that we're running. I was out at the track helping out some mini stock drivers and stuff like that. Sam was there working, obviously. Kind of support the racetrack, doing what we can over there, the drivers and stuff like that. Today's video, obviously we don't have any race recaps or anything like that, but we're going to talk about our first car, the original 92 Sedan, and why we decided to go with the Coupe instead of working on the Sedan to make it faster. So, the original Sedan was a perfect first car. It's heavy. It's got a 9-pound weight, advantage for dirt, disadvantage for asphalt. Originally, this car was originally like set up back 20 years ago. The original Toyota calipers, drum brakes, heavy battery, 9 pounds of extra chassis steel. So this car is about 20 to 30 pounds heavier over the weight, basic minimum weight, without going crazy with it and stuff like that. So in all of racing, every aspect of racing, Formula One, all the way down to every little thing, you want to make cars the lightest they can be. You actually want them to come under the minimum weight, so this way you can add weight where you want it. Each corner for percentages and weights and this and that, to get fine-tune the weight of the vehicle. With the Sedan being such a heavy-ass car, it taught me, no matter how much I adjusted it and tried that, the tail end wanted to come around on me. Going into the turn, I probably could change more springs. I could have done this and done that. I basically had a basic setup in the car, and I said to myself, learn to drive the car. So we did get the car down into the 13.8 bracket on a good lap. For me, for the car, ideal conditions, randomly mostly around 13.9s, 14s, 14.1s, was right around the area. But I did learn car control. There's different opinions of learning how to drive a bad car versus learning how to drive a good car. Do you want to work on your driving knowing that the car is there, or do you want to work on your driving and the car that's ill handling or hard to handle? I won't say ill handling, it's just harder to handle. I think I have an advantage. I have gotten an advantage driving a car that isn't ideal in today's conditions. Taught me a lot of car control. As you go through the history of our channel, everybody talks about me dirt tracking it. Obviously, I was basically drifting this car around the track because the tail end was so happy. Without going crazy, spending a lot of money on this car, Samantha and I brainstormed and said, listen, on asphalt, the sedans are a dying breed because we can't get these cars light enough to eventually go into the FZ09s, the MT09s, to even get down to their minimum weight. So, with the rules package, which we're not going to go over all the details, depending on the motor you have in your car, you have a minimum weight. The 1250 is an X amount of weight. The Sedan or the Coupe is another 1250. It's the same weight. I would have to strip this car down to bare minimum to get even close to getting to minimum weight. The Coupe with the same 1250, I'm like 10 pounds over minimum weight, with weight added to it in the right spots. So we're already looking at a 20-pound weight difference with the same horsepower. Now, obviously, this is an older motor. We're not at peak horsepower, but it taught me how to get out of the turns better, how to handle it, get up to the wall, because the rear end was always going that way anyway. So it really taught me good car control. So then when I started driving the Coupe, everybody thought I was going to spin out. Tail end is all twitchy and all that stuff. Well, I must have gotten a good setup from our guy. So we set the car up, and I'm more tight than I am loose, which we made some adjustments for this coming week. Again, put it on the scales and all that stuff to readjust my numbers and all that stuff. So from going from a very loose race car to a tight race car, I'm now living, instead of like 14.0, 14.1 with the occasional good lap of 13.9, I'm running 13.9s and occasionally 13.8s. So 2/10 basically from there. So that got me from 26th, 27th quick to scratching into the top 20. Why does that make a big difference? We have 26 cars make our feature. We have over regularly 30 cars in our. I think the only one so far this year that we did not run a consi.
But everybody got in anyways.
Because we had 28 cars and they just let everybody go in, and that's another story.
That was also the modified tour race and
Yes.
the rain delay.
So the Coupe handles, as far as I can tell right now, with the 1250s, once I get the front end to turn a little bit better, I should be at 13.7, 13.8s. Another 2/10, which puts me into the top 15, which is our goal for this year. Puts us deeper into the hornet's nest, where I'm learning to race these guys. I still got to learn how to pass the slow traffic a little more aggressively, cleanly but aggressively from my side of it. Not sit back and let them get out of my way, but say, tap, tap, I'm here, I'm coming through.
Which is the purpose of all the bumpers.
What I've done to the Sedan, set it up somewhat to the Coupe as far as the suspension and all that stuff. One day I'm going to take this out into practice, put some real good tires on this car, and I want to see how it handles differently with just the setup different. And then we'll work on that as other people hop in it, drive it. So we might have it out this weekend. Practice only. We're not racing it, just to shake it down. This way, anybody who wants to hop in it and trial engine racing, we'll have a car available for them. To the Coupe. The Coupe, so far, I really have a hard time breaking the back end loose. Again, there are a lot more things I'm going to be doing to this car over the next off season and stuff like that. We're still running the drum brakes instead of the discs. I don't have any brake bias in it, which I know we can help with. So that's the off season's project. We'll probably look into going from the Bilsteins, which I'm running, to the AFCOs. But we're going to do it in stages. So if I can we might use the Sedan as a test bed for the AFCOs, because they're just like, okay, we have a good setup on here, let's go to this car. I don't want to go into next season saying, oh my god, I have a completely different car and trying to figure out the brakes and then the shocks and all that stuff. But our setup guy is pretty good with the AFCOs, so I'm not too worried about getting a good setup in the car that way. So we're looking for we're at the end of June. By the Turkey Derby at Riverhead. Well, Turkey Derby's at Wall Stadium, which I plan on running this year. I might go out to Evergreen, depending on if I get the right gear in here. But yes, the Coupe is easier to drive. The previous owner of this vehicle, I don't know if he's the original owner of it, he goes, this chassis turns. This car always turns well. And he had a 1200 in it, and he decided to go with the FZ09s when they came out because he was getting tired of beating them. Again, weight advantage. I've yet to driven an FZ or an MT. From what I hear, that they're easy to drive because they don't have as much horsepower, so it's easier to get through the turns and get onto the gas earlier without breaking the tires loose. And again, that's all about throttle control. People drive differently. You know, the whole idea is different driving styles do make a big difference. I have a hard time not diving into the turns too hard, but again, I'm working with brakes that brake instead of a car that is like, whoa, I gotta warm it up a little earlier just to make the turn.
That
So
one
again,
stops. That one spins.
So, you know, as we upgrade the Coupe, the leftovers go to the Sedan. So then we'll go with the Willwood brakes instead of the Toyota brakes, which will probably knock off 5 to 10 pounds. You know, I can go with the lightweight battery. I can do the lightweight oil cooler. All of these little things add up. I plan on running the 1250s probably for at least another year. Until I've maxed out to my ability the Coupe, whether we keep on racing it or just go to our other adventures, what we were planning originally for this car, which we still will be doing with this car. But I have people interested in doing Legends racing at Riverhead in the car, so I'm going to keep it that way for this year. So that's why it's a backup car. But I want to really see what it's like driving this car with the different setup in it. This way I can tell how it originally was, like, wow. Because there's a benchmark out there where the previous owner of this vehicle got to a 13.7, I think.
Like once, maybe.
Twice, on a, like, ideal situation, he laid down a 13.7 lap. Well, that's where I want to live with this car. That's what we made the adjustments this off week. Tomorrow night we'll be in here on the scales and getting the numbers. I'll be on the phone with the setup guy, and then eventually we'll do that to this car. But then I got to redo the front end, all the little things that I have on this car. I have to do to this car, and then we'll see how we are. And then from like that. So to me, that's the big difference between a sedan and the Coupe at Riverhead. Now, everywhere you see, every Legends race, it goes like, oh, they're all Coupes. They all look like the same car. There's a reason for that. Sedans are heavier. So unless you have some sort of illegal, or sealed motor that's got 170 horsepower, you're at a disadvantage. And when you're looking for tenths of a second, that's what it's all about. Taking advantage of the rule book that allows lighter cars. Might have less horsepower, but you don't need as much, because that's why the FZs and the MTs are winning or faster. We might, looking on the schedule and how things are, I want to go to a larger track than a quarter mile.
That's not Walt off the bat.
Wall Stadium, Evergreen, and Waterford are the 3 other tracks that are bigger than Riverhead. I have to get the proper gear. I have something close, but not what is recommended. So we'll have to scrounge out and get a 373 gear.
Oh, you're a literal gear.
What?
You're talking about a literal gear. I thought you meant like a fire suit bits.
No. This is an actual rear gear that
A rear gear, not your driving gear.
no. Wall, we're gonna probably just hang out and do the Turkey Derby this year because of the New Jersey state laws, fire suppression system, Jersey kits, and all that stuff. That is something where I might make this car the wall car, and then leave it so any off weekend that we can go, we'll go to wall without having to worry about, oh, you only went here once.
Or having to switch the setup and then switch it back.
Yeah. So, like, this might be my big track car, and this would be my Riverhead car, or that's something that powers debate. You have to work together and see what is.
What the wallet says.
Yes. And unfortunately, I still have the open trailer, which makes it harder. I have to go and come back in the same day. So I can't travel too far.
So, we may have been off from racing last week, but last Saturday, what was it, 40 years ago?
Yes.
You won a race?
I won back in the day, back in the early 80s. Riverhead hosted spectator drag racing around the quarter-mile oval. One-on-one, start-finish line, green flag, one lap around. Kind of switched from outside lane to inside lane. I had a 1969 Ford Mustang that was my first car. Built a motor, swapped it from an automatic to a manual transmission. Just messing around like everybody else. Those guys got a little crazy out there, but I did happen on one weekend that I decided, you know what, let me go out there, let me do that. And at the end of the night, I won. And I have a trophy from 1984. Yes, this past weekend I got made fun of because I graduated high school in 1982. And everybody was thinking, oh my God, because these people are born in 2000 and later. Like everybody's grandpa out there.
Yeah, you're one of the crazy old men, as the people down in Charlotte would say.
So, but yes, I've had the racing bug in me for a long, long time, but you know, life took me a different path.
Life was in the way. Yeah, hi, life standing right here.
Yeah. But to this day, it's what happened in those years from back 40 years ago to now is the reason why I'm racing. So
Stat origin story.
So the storyline is that the wife wasn't much into racing. She followed along, NASCAR, Jeff Gordon fan, and all that stuff. And then, you know, marriage and houses and children, colleges, and so my oldest one, Samantha, the one's behind the camera, went off to college, graduated, tried to open up her own business up there. Her business partner turned out to be not so nice. Samantha came home, reset, got a good job, and then we went out to the racetrack helping somebody else out, and next thing you know, there was a race car being delivered at my doorstep.
We helped
to her.
Yeah,
to her.
We helped the original owner, or not the original, but the previous owner of this car.
The Coupe.
The Coupe.
Kevin,
I'm pointing.
We can
Yeah, Kevin.
Kevin
Kevin.
Ornberger.
And we were hanging out with Anthony Marsh and his pit crew because he was parked like nearby. And he had this car. And this was originally that satin black, you know, the 34. It was his backup car. And they're like, oh yeah, no, we're thinking of selling it. I'm like, what's your number? And he's like, what's your number? and our numbers matched, so now we had a race car. And then he was like, like that.
Yep. And then we bought a car, and then we got the car, then bought the trailer, and we bought another truck.
And then we bought the toolbox.
And then
I bought the... No, you did help buy the trailer,
yes.
but I bought the truck.
Yes.
So it's my truck, my race car. Mostly my trailer. I just let you play with my toys.
Yes. So, well, I paid mostly for the coupe. So, but we have 2 play toys.
1 out of 3 ain't bad, I guess. Okay.
Anyway.
Yeah. And the motors and the engines and all the other crap that somehow,
Listen. Everybody's dumping their 1250 stuff, so I'm more than happy to buy it. Now we're working on building a 1200 or 1250 for somebody. I get an order in. I get to get my stuff in order here in order to start doing some of that stuff.
And now you're branching off into steering racks and playing with seeing what can be rebuilt as opposed to rebought.
Yeah. That's how you save money. You learn how to do it this way you understand it more.
Or know a guy who does it, bumpers. Not everybody,
knows how to weld and put tabs on
or has
not,
the time.
Not every racetrack has a welder at the racetrack that's willing to do that.
But
so yes, we're gonna check in after this weekend. We'll have both cars out there. Probably one, if our one driver doesn't show up, I'll go out and practice with the sedan, and then I'll work on the coupe, or I might go in the coupe and get changes on that to see where it's handling.
You can do what Jeffrey does and bring your second car up to the impound area and.
Yes, but we have to visit our buddy Dennis to get another transponder, so I don't have to swap that out.
Yeah, otherwise you'll end up like a couple of the guys. Oh, the car doesn't have a transponder.
Exactly.
Get off the track.
Exactly. So that's the plan for this weekend. I got somewhat decent tires to put on the sedan. Probably
none of these on the rack.
No, these are the ones on the rack.
Oh, these are the good ones?
Yes, the rollers are on the car yet. I didn't put because I was going to drive it around in the street.
Yeah. Well, okay. You can understand my confusion because we have 8 tires there. We have 3 tires there. We have 4 on this car, 4 on that car. I'm pretty sure there's another stack somewhere.
They're outside.
Oh, sorry. There's another stack somewhere out.
Another 8 outside.
Somewhere out in the ether that you can't actually see through this window because it's partially painted and partially dirty and it's light in here and dark out there. I'm pretty sure we still have another couple sets downstairs.
No.
We relocated those back up here after the holiday got put back downstairs.
So.
Anyways,
that is the plan. I know somebody from up north wants to come down and race it, the sedan. I have somebody who wants to just
try a Legends car.
Go around the pits and go out for practice with it and see what he wants to do. Like I said, try it before you buy it. If you don't like it, don't like it. If you like it, now this one's not for sale, but at least you have an idea that yes, I can get into this.
Give us a couple weeks. Well, I'm sure we'll acquire enough parts to build the third one.
I have 2 sedan chassis. That's it.
Yeah, but you have 3 sedan bodies.
Well, yes, I know.
And I'm not really allowed to talk about bodies because Mom gets worried that I'm not talking about car bodies.
Yes, well, you talk about disposing of human bodies. Anyway, I got work to do. Hey, listen, if I can find a cheap enough sedan chassis, I'll...
We don't have the space. He's lying. Don't. I mean, if you want to post it in the comments of somebody is selling a sedan chassis, but we really don't need one.
I'll find. I have a third. We have a third chassis, so I don't need a chassis. I have plenty of motors to work with for non-INEX sanctioned events, and then whatever else we can get in trouble with.
Leave me out of this. Just because I bought it for you doesn't mean that I get...
You listen.
Listen, I enabled you. I don't get the blame.
It's almost cheaper than a drug addiction.
Listen, I bought it, but you're the adult here.
Says who? I'm beyond that.
Says the paperwork that labels you as dad.
There's no such paperwork that says dad on it besides a birthday card.
Father.
I'm just...
Listen, whatever they filled out, aren't you listed on my birth certificate?
I guess. I don't know. Anyway.
Well, I mean, we always thought I was the redheaded stepchild.
We're having fun. Within a budget. It's not like we have loads of money to throw at these things. I'm buying used parts and all that stuff. New to us, we'll grow as fast or as much as we can afford to grow. Always looking for a helpful hand, sponsorship, gas money, tire money, pin entry money. Every little bit helps. Every little bit goes right back into the operation of Sats Auto Garage.
Even just a helping hand at the track.
Even a helping hand. If anybody wants to help out, I can always use an extra set of hands at the racetrack, especially if we're going to bring 2 cars. So our tow truck driver this week will be for I have to prep him so he has knowledge of what he's going to be doing.
We have a cameraman this week, too.
You do?
We do. He texted me earlier.
Okay.
Making sure we were going to be there.
Okay. So we'll talk to him, too. So, good.
You have work.
Yes, I have a dog I have to take for a walk.
And I have to edit.
You have to edit. So, peace out. Till next time.